Kickstarters this week. I want to have a quick look at Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. This is a game launching very shortly. Okay, October 8th, guys. If you haven't seen it, we have a Let's Play and some other content up related to this. Jerry, both yourself and Justin have had a chance to spend some time with this.
We have indeed.
Can you give us a bit of the inside track?
It's an interesting little game because we've got the likes of an app or a book-driven story mode, which is essentially half of an encounter. But you don't have to play it simultaneously, so you don't have to do your story mode and then immediately go into the encounter sort of tabletop miniatures game. You can have like an RP session, and then if you get to the end of that and you know what you're going to be facing the next week when you come back into it, then you can set up the encounter. Or if you've got the time to run through, you could do the entire story and encounter in one big session. So essentially every sort of scenario is broken into two halves. But it's a really interesting world. There's sort of city-states or walled cities that are being encroached by the Deepwood. The Deepwood is not a place you want to travel lightly. So all these cities or towns are connected by the wire road or chain road. And essentially it's just literally just a chain link rope that runs from city to city that people travel along, because if you get wandered off the beaten path or stray too far, you'll get butchered horribly by the unusual things that are encroaching. So a lot of Oathsworn is about the bands of adventurers who are brave enough to actually travel from place to place, because the majority of the world is sort of engulfed by nature coming back in a big way.
Nice. It has a feel of that. What was that Will Smith movie where they came back to Earth?
After Earth?
Was
the
it
horrible one with his son?
Yes, the one with his son.
Yeah, that's After Earth.
Yes, when they came back and they landed on Earth.
No, they crashed.
Well, okay. They hard landed on Earth, and Earth had basically decided it had become
jungle,
primal. You know, where everything there was out to kill you. I love this idea. So these city states, and then the journey between them. This chain.
Yeah.
Did you follow along it? You might even tie yourself to it to try and stop yourself being dragged away by some flipping thing with gnashing teeth.
An actual physical chain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's so evocative.
Yeah. One of the things I love about this is that each of your adventures in the game, so if you look at the picture here, you see those little boxes up at the top.
Yes.
Each one of those boxes is an adventure. Self-contained with hidden information that you will only reveal whenever you hit the correct triggers during your sessions.
Wow. Is it Legacy then?
I believe it is.
Yes and no. So in the core set, whenever you're playing through, you won't know what you're encountering, although you might get hints from things like the maps themselves.
Or the app.
Of the city have things drawing in the borders that will sometimes tie into the encounters that are written for it. So there might be a lot of rats, or there might be something on it. And it will, when you reach that encounter phase, it will go and pick box 6. And you open box 6, and it will contain the monster cards for the encounter and the main monster you're going to fight itself. So in this case, there's like the brood mother, some sort of rat beast,
like a giant rat.
Yeah. So in that way, it's Legacy in that you don't know what you're fighting until you play through the adventure and find it. But that doesn't mean that it's done and dusted and you can't play it again. You can go back and replay them, because how you reach the encounter phase can be different every time. How you pick up clues and the things that help you along the way, including other sort of NPCs that will join your party as sort of mini player characters who can sort of level up with your group, can be different. So you have the opportunity to get hangers on to come and accompany you and help you out, or you may lose them during fights as well. So all of that plays out differently as long as you're taking different choices essentially along the way.
What are the minis like?
Stunning.
Very nice.
They're really nice.
We've got some of the 3D renders here.
Did you guys get to see the prototypes?
We did.
We did.
We had
are they nice?
Yeah. They are.
They're like it says 45mm scale there, so they're probably
they're quite big then.
They're fairly chunky because you don't need a huge amount of miniatures, and it is essentially a battle game / board game.
Yeah,
you don't need to have a lot of miniatures on the tabletop. You're playing on a very restricted space.
So what you're doing is you're RPing the game,
and
then playing out the encounters
as fights. So they went for bigger scale so they could get as much detail sort of crammed in as you can.
Oh, nice!
And they're really interesting how they've decided to explore and actually grow the world from the ground up.
Scroll back up there, Justin.
Okay.
This no down that encounter board thing then.
Yes.
So you're on I seen a city.
So that's a hex map.
I seen a city map, and then how does the city map relate to this?
The city map is a separate thing, so it's basically showing you what locations you have visited during your narrative session.
Yeah, but is that the location then?
Well, that's your encounter location that you will have in each adventure.
Yeah, that's essentially just a bit of the Deepwood there to allow you to stick your miniatures down with a big hex map. So the map there, that's not the only map of the only town or city that you'll visit, but because of the way it's laid out with essentially paths and, well, not even paths, it's got points of interest on it. So there'll be a map with maybe 20 or 30 circles on it, and they're numbered, and you'll make a choice and you'll decide you're going to go into the town square. So you go into the town square, which is like number 17 or whatever in your book or your app, and you go there and you go, this is happening here right now, and your choices are now 13, 14 and 2, so you put those on. Whereas you might decide that you're going to go to the bakery first, get some bread, go nom nom nom, have my bread, and then we're going to go to the town centre. And you go to the town centre, but whatever you were expecting to see maybe have already kicked off and be gone by now. So it goes, go to 2 and 7. And
sounds really alive.
Your other choices disappear because of what you've done and what order you've done them.
It's something I love about the game is the app system is actually voiced by the fellow that played Lord Commander Mormont from Game of Thrones.
Now, which one was Lord Commander Mormont?
He was in a Fate Impact. He's the big ginger.
Lord of the Night's Watch.
Oh, the big ginger. Right.
Not the big ginger.
He is the big ginger.
He is the big ginger.
Is he not the old guy at the wall?
Yeah, he was ginger.
Yeah, he was ginger.
Was he ginger? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You remember him from Fate Impact. He was an Ivanhoe. He played Ivanhoe's father.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I like him.
So he's
the guy that gave the sword to Jon Snow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in Braveheart.
He does the voice acting for the app-driven version of your story mode.
Nice.
Which is quite
Cosmo.
Nice.
And the story was written by, was it Dubinsky Bowden?
Dembski Bowden. Aaron Dembski Bowden, I believe,
Bowden,
yeah, I
believe
it was.
The writing of this, wasn't he? So.
Yeah. One of the other cool things is they have a dual combat system in this when you hit your encounter.
Yeah.
So you can either go for the dice, which is your usual roll for randomness.
Yes.
Or if you see the 140 might cards, they are the mathematical probabilities done in a small deck. So you can draw from the deck or roll the dice as you desire. So you can either go with the cards that are a little more kind to you or go for the randomness of the dice.
Oh.
Sweet.
Okay. I don't.
It lets you play with the probabilities of how safe you want to be.
Is that like a difficulty level controller then?
It's just something you have free choice on.
Say you were rolling 2d6 and you roll them X number of times. You know that bell curve you get? Yeah. So theoretically, although they have different amounts of successes and the like on the dice, the cards should replicate the bell curve, so you'll have maybe one fluff, one crit, the majority of the stuff in the middle, and it's so you shuffle them, and as you play them, as if you were playing a rolling. So instead of rolling 3 dice, so you turn 3 cards,
playing the odds.
So you actually get the bell curve.
You get the bell curve
in its entirety.
That type of thing,
rather than
the spikes you get on
rather than me rolling the dice and always getting 3 ones, despite the fact I should never. In fact, sometimes the dice don't even have ones.
So you're guaranteed to get the best and the worst.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do the dice,
it could go anywhere.
You could still end up just getting the worst.
And you can play either or during the game.
So you can just choose as you go through. Which one you want to do.
You've already pulled out the worst card in the deck, and you're going right. Well,
let's.
Things are only going to get better.
So I'm going to just roll dice in the next encounter until we get to the whatever we're going to be fighting later, because I know that deck is now stacked in my favor. So I'm not going to hit the worst on that card deck. So I don't pull from the card deck. I'm just going to roll dice.
There's some interesting choices to be had if you're in that. That's a very interesting mechanic.
And then they have what's called an effort mechanic in there as well.
Yeah.
So you'll have your weapon stat, right? So it'll maybe generate a yellow dice. I can roll as many of those white dice as I want, because that's how much effort I'm throwing in there.
Yes.
The way you miss in this game is if you roll 2 blanks. So the more dice you roll, the more chance of higher damage you have, but the more chance you have of missing.
Yes.
Which is a really nice mechanic.
Yeah, so it's a tempering effect.
Yes.
You could throw as much effort as you want at it.
Yeah.
But if you overdo it, you overcook it, you're in trouble.
Exactly. It's something I really like about the system as well.
Well, guys, Oathsworn is about to kick off on the 8th. Definitely well worth a look. So we also have some content coming out for that to try and give you a deeper look at the game. So yeah, go and check that out.